Okay, so now let's start doing some shader building. So let's go into material and let's type Redshift material builder. And let's assign it to this rock tutorial. By the way, maybe before we do that, let's already make it sort of more proper, the way that we're gonna use it inside of the render thing. Let's make a geometry node and call it RNDR, maybe Pebble, because this is going to be the small one. And what we can do is we can reference this link, or we can just copy parameter this file, go in here and type file, and then paste relative references. So we load it in here. So this will be our rock asset, and then select this, press the color, the C on your keyboard, open up color, and then make it green. So we know that every green node will be the things that we want to render. So later when we're going to shading, we're going to use actually everything that's going to be RNDR underscore is going to be rendered. But for now, let's just do it as just a simple naming convention. So no, we already have a cam. Let's position our cam properly, I guess. All right, and let's assign this material. Let's just assign it on here and call this rocks. All right. Okay, so I've also put my own rock material that I already had over here. So we have something to maybe look back in to sort of see what we've been doing. But let's just start building it from scratch first. So let's maybe close these things because we don't really need this. All right, so let's just start doing some stuff. Okay, so one more thing, let's unfold this. Let's first, what we need to do is we need to start enabling displacement already on our geometry node. So let's select our geometry node, go to Redshift object and enable tessellation and enable displacement. So then we can start using displacement in our shader. So there's a couple of settings here. So you have the maximum subdivisions. So it will subdivide the mesh at render time, and the maximum subdivisions is what is the maximum amount it can subdivide it. And remember, this works exponentially. So if you have 4 polygons, it will be 8, and then if you subdivide those again, it will be 16. It will quickly increase. And the minimum edge length, well, it's the minimum length that an edge should be. So if you make this smaller, you will get more detail as well, but also it will be heavier. But let's just leave it as a default for now. It should probably be fine. So just so you know. And let's dive into our rock material. So let's first just make a Redshift material and plug it in there. Right, so you can see now it works. So if we make this red, we have a red rock, which is probably not what we want. Let's see what we did in our original thing. So you can see this material has a couple of inputs. So it has a triplanar input, and then it has a color mix here, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So I'm using some Maxon noises. So let's see what settings I use for those. Use Nutius and Luca. All right, let's start. Let's use a Maxon noise. And again, if you don't have Redshift 3, you could also use regular noises. So you just can plug them in. So let's first put down a triplanar. So I think these do this by default in Redshift 3, but I'm not sure about Redshift 2. And for the regular Redshift noises, those are 3D noises, so you don't even need triplanar for that. You do need triplanar for the Maxon noises, I think. So anyway, so what triplanar does is, again, it projects, it makes a camera here, it makes a camera there, and a camera there, and then it sort of projects a UV, and then it blends between those. Anyway, so let's put a material in there. You can see we get something already, and let's let's do a preset. Oh, so this is the, so which one did we use again? So I think I use Luca. So if you already have a look at this, so already the basic for this Luca thing already looks pretty good, actually. So let's see what we did. So I make it black and gray, and the other was nucleus, right? So and then, so what you can see is let's have a look. Also just having a look at how I had the whole thing set up. All right. So let's copy this other one. All right, so we have this other thing. So what you can do is, like, let's say if we make this other noise, which looks like this. So there's a different look. What you can do is you can use this vector mix thing that we used before. So okay, so you put it down, you plug one in the one input, and then the other one in the second input. And will allow us to sort of mix between these two. So then instead of just having just this or this, we have a mix of the two. Let's go back to the other thing. Let's have a look. So I put a color correct, let's see, based on the curvature. I'm going to do this color correct later. I'm just gonna explain first what's going on. So you see this curvature being used on more places. And then you see another maxwell noise here with a color in it. Okay, so let's see what that basically does. So right now our colors are just black and white, but what I kind of liked is I wanted to have some sort of colors in the crevices of these things. So what you can use is something called a curvature shader. So let's do another vector mix. And again, you can just mix as many as you want. It's just mixing these vectors, because remember, color is a vector. And let's put just a absolute color for now. Can make this a maximum color later, but let's just make it red. Okay, it looks terrible. But let's put down curvature. And let's put the curvature in the, I put the wrong one, a vector mix. Yeah, okay, I need to have that vector mix. Okay, and then let's put curvature in the mix amount. All right, you can already see something happening. So what does curvature do? Curvature measures the curvature of a surface. So maybe if I go into sub-level, I can explain this a little bit easier. Then you can sort of see what's going on. Because on sub-level, there's also a curvature measurement. So if I type measure, put it to curvature, and then we get a, let's have a look. Get a curvature on primitive. And let's put down a color. Ramp from attribute. Let's put it on primitives. Let's type curvature. And why is this not working? So let's look. It's going from 0 to 2.5. Oh, we need to link our view to the second view, of course. Okay. So now you can kind of see what's going on. So if I change these values a little bit, let's see if I can make this a little bit more clear. Well, you can kind of already see what's going on. So where the surface is more curved, it'll be whiter, and where it's less curved, it'll be, well, less white. You can also have it inverted and then being concave. Let's see if I can also do that on the, if it's also possible on this. So I guess we could also invert it over here. So let's just 2 to 0. Oh, 2 to 0. Okay, that doesn't work. Anyway, you can also have this thing inverted. So then this would be black and the other part would be white. So that's what the curvature shader does. So let's go back in here. go into our material. Right, let's press render again. Right, so now the radius is set quite high. Let's say if we make it smaller. Let's change our camera. So we accidentally moved our actual render camera. So maybe let's put it in a good position and unlock the thing. All right, so let's go back into material. Right, so now it's convex. You can also put it to concave. You can see now all of the concave pieces will be red. You can also make it even less. So again, convex will do these edges, concave will do it like that. So what I liked is with these rocks is that the inside would sort of be a little bit green. Okay, so let's do, instead of an absolute color here, let's do another noise. Let's put in the noise. Let's make it sort of sort of a darkish green or something. Maybe we want to change the curvature to be even smaller. I guess that looks kind of okay, but we cannot really judge this properly right now still, because we don't really have a lot of detail, because it still looks super flat, right? Okay, so we kind of want to start using some displacement. So maybe what we want to do is let's grab one of these noises. Let's put it over here. And let's type displacement. We've already enabled displacement on our actual rock, but let's plug it in there. Let's plug this into displacement. Now it completely explodes. Let's make it a lot smaller. All right. So maybe we want to change the scale a little bit. We could also say that maybe we want to just plug in this vector. Let's see how that looks. You can also see that now this displacement adds more curvature basically. So it will also change the look of our rock. So right now it mostly looks like some infernal rock thing. So I'm not sure if that's what we're after. Let's change the colors a little bit. Let's just make one. Very dark. Okay, so another thing that I don't really quite like is that the rock is like very specular now, and a rock shouldn't look this specular. So that's where these other settings come in, right? Remember the reflection and the refraction weight. You can see if we turn it down, it's not specular at all, and now it is specular. So if you set up your AUVs, you could also have a look at this. So let's do that. So again, if you're on Redshift 2.6, you can do your AUVs over here. Just make your AUVs. But I just have this one and I have a preset for this. Just gonna put up my AUV preset. I'm gonna remove crypto math because we're not using that. I'm gonna get more in this later. So okay, I'm just gonna use all of the basic ones. So that's gonna be diffuse. You need to add that. You need to add a reflection, refraction, GI, specular. We don't need Z for now. We don't need subsurface scattering. We don't have any subsurface scattering. We don't have any refraction either, but right. So let's just select that one and let's just put the AUVs in there. Let's press render. Okay, so now we can look through our different things. So reflection, no reflection, a little bit of GI. So it's a little bit easier to judge, right? Okay. Let's go back into our material. So, of course, I mean, we do want some reflection, but we don't want it to be like super uniform. So let's see what I plugged in there, because we can plug some noises in there as well. So you can see I put another thing into the reflection weight, so another noise. and one in the roughness as well. And let's see what I did there. Okay, so let's do that. So let's do another maximum noise. We can preview these noises if we want to, just plugging them into the color. Oh, not the math add, it's maximum noise. So that's often what I do is I just plug them in the color, then we can have a look at like, okay, which noise type do we like? So maybe something like that. Okay, then we could say, okay, we want to plug this into the reflection roughness, and then plug that one back in there, and then plug the color that we have maybe in the reflection weight. Do we want to control that manually? Maybe let's have a look. Gonna keep going back and forth. Reflection weight. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in reflection weight and this one in reflection roughness. All right, let's maybe start playing a little bit with these values. Do we have something that we like? Again, could also just plug stuff in directly so we have a more better look of like what our stuff looks like. Maybe this one needs to something like that. Let's maybe have our displacement still be controlled by a different one. So let's plug this in. Let's turn down our displacement for now. Let's have a look at a nice noise type. So I do kind of like this one because it has sort of a wavy sort of pattern. Maybe bump the contrast a little bit. All right, so let's plug this back into color, do it like that. And let's up our displacement scale. 0.1. Oh. For some reason it suddenly resets to this thing. I think we're gonna need a little bit more detail on our rock. So let's go back to this thing. Let's decrease the minimum edge length. For some reason it keeps reverting back to this old render that's stored in RAM or something. Very strange. I'm pretty sure it's not in the gallery. Oh, it's in the gallery. Okay, let's remove those. Remove. All right. So we reduce that. Let's maybe increase the light a little bit. Maybe let's add an extra light ourselves, which will just shine to a certain point of the thing. We can adjust the speculars a little bit better. Okay, let's turn off the let's put this one back to 1. Okay, yeah, this will help us judge the detail a little bit better, I think. Let's make it a little bit less bright. Okay, so maybe there's a couple of things that we maybe still want to change. So we could say that we want to, let's have a look. Let's close this down. Okay, so maybe what we want to do is maybe based on curvature, turn down the levels a little bit maybe. So now we could, like with this, we could say that we want to turn the overall gamma down a little bit. So now it would be darker also where it's like inside of the rock a little bit. So do it a little bit. No, not that one yet. We're moving ahead here. Okay, so this looks quite okay. So I'd say let's just render out a frame for this, and then let's apply it to our big rock. So let's go to our out. Let's select our ROP here. And this is set to root render 3D shot, so that's correct. So this will go to the render folder here to 3D, and then it's going to go into R&D because that's the shot that we set up over here. Remember? And then let's give it a name. So let's call this underscore small rock maybe. Version 1, we don't really need a frame number. This is going to be a test render. All right. So we have some AOV. So we have our AOV set up over here. So that looks fine. Again, so this has all of the presets. So the radiance, so the globe illumination is set to brute force. Secondary GR irradiance point cloud. Just very low samples. It's just going to be a test render. All right, so let's just press render and see what's going to happen. Again, we're going to render as EXR. So it's going to render the scene now. So you can see small rock, 1, and then we have the small rock here. And then what we could do is, we go to Fusion, for example. Could drag the small rock in here and then preview it. So we have our rock. And this rock has all of the AOVs in there as well. As you can see, here are all the AOVs. You could go use the script by House of Secrets to split them. You can see we could split our AOVs. We're going to get more into this later. But you can see this is how we can render out a frame. So now we have a nice little test frame for our regular rock. So now let's do the big rock.